What's going on, guys? So I was asked a very interesting question the other day, and it was one that I felt I should take a moment to answer. And it was from one of my viewers, one of my younger viewers, who asked me if I could build the ideal truck using components from Ram, GM, and Ford, what would that truck consist of? So I figured I'd take a moment and I'd answer that question. So this video is sponsored by Vikings War of Clans. It's inspired by PC strategy and RPG games from the 90s like Castles and Civilization. You know, the kind we used to always play. Last time we took the RV out, I had a chance to play it for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. The graphics are really amazing. The gameplay is awesome. It's constantly evolving. You're constantly fighting over territories and resources. It has the graphics that a lot of people are really going to enjoy, especially on their smartphone. So please support my channel by downloading Vikings for free, only from my links in the description box, and get a special bonus of 200 gold coins and a protective shield. Well, first and foremost, I think the number one feature I would want the truck to have is a wide track front axle. That is just such a great feature to have, especially if you're going to be hauling any type of long trailer and you really want the ability to maneuver it into place easier. Shoot, even when you're not hauling a trailer, having a tighter turning radius is always beneficial, even if you're just trying to back your truck into a relatively tight parking spot. So wide track front axle would be my number one requirement of whichever truck I built. Number two, I would ask for a fully boxed frame section from the front of the truck all the way through the cab area of the back, and then I would go to an open C-channel reinforced frame section from the back of the cab to the end of the bed. The reason why, and a lot of people might be surprised that I said this, is because I do like the structural rigidity of a boxed frame, and having that boxed section all the way through the cab makes a lot of sense. So if you look at the new Super Duties, if you look at the new Rams, and even GM cab and chassis vehicles that basically have a pickup truck front but a open rail back that you can put vocational bodies on and things like that, many of them have gone to a boxed frame for pretty much everything except under where the bed would go. In my opinion, I would love to see the open C channel underneath the bed, but I'd also like to see it reinforced, which means they put extra pieces of steel that wrap around certain areas that could potentially twist easier or might be more vulnerable to bending. The next one's, kind of an interesting one. I would probably put the high output Cummins engine inside of it, but with the reliability and the limited problems that you're really having with any of the modern diesel engines, it would really be a toss-up between putting a Duramax, a Power Stroke, or a Cummins inside of it. The number one failure point, as I've pointed out in a lot of videos, is the emissions systems, all the things tied to your emissions, from your DPF to your EGR sensors, things that make the vehicle more environmentally friendly, but at the same time, wear out much quicker than most of the engine components might. But if I'd have to go with the tried and true platform, I would probably go with the 6.7 liter high output Cummins that you can get in certain versions of the Ram HD pickup trucks. Next, I would definitely go with mixed materials in terms of body panels and the bed. I really like General Motors' approach to using aluminum for doors, aluminum for your tailgate, aluminum for your hood, basically anything that's hinged, and everything else is high-strength steel, including the bed. In my opinion, even though you can deal with rust with high-strength steel, I still prefer the fact that it is going to be a more robust material, and it's going to hold up better against the extremes if you have something major that falls into it, or if you're backing up and you accidentally hit a tree branch or something. You just have a much less likelihood that you're going to tear a body panel. And it's also easier to repair, it's quicker to repair, and it costs a little less. Now, in terms of lighting, I would probably opt for Ram's lighting. Ram has done a phenomenal job with their lighting systems on the new Ram pickup trucks if you opt for the LED light package. Their headlights absolutely casted the brightest, broadest, widest light on the road that I've ever seen on any pickup truck ever. Their taillight system, basically everything about their lighting system has always been really good, and I would probably equip the truck with the Ram lighting system. Now, from a looks perspective, I am a fan of the Super Duty. I really like the way the Super Duty looks. It's going to be hard to say if that's something I'm going to stick with simply because GM and Ram are both due to release their new body styles in the next year, and they may really capture the market when it comes to what trucks look like. So, in my opinion, as of today, I really like the look of the Ford Super Duty. But, that being said, I'm also a big fan of the GMC Denali. I really like that look, and the Ram. I think they all have very distinct heavy-duty look. So it's kind of a toss-up. You know, I'm going to change it. If I had to say which look I'd want to go with, it'd most likely be the Ram. I really like the look of the Ram, especially when you couple it with that wide track front axle that you can get on like the 4500, 5500 series trucks. So yeah, I'd put the Ram body style in terms of the overall look of the truck. From a mirror perspective, hands down Ford. There is absolutely no towing mirror on the market that's better than the Ford towing mirror in terms of a stock mirror. It gives you electric folding, electric telescoping. It gives you a huge spot mirror, a huge main mirror. They just work exceptionally well. They're easy to work with. I absolutely love them. It would definitely be the Ford mirrors. Now from the interior, Ram, hands down. Ram to me has set the bar in terms of interior design, materials, fit and finish, all of that. When I test drove the new Ram half-ton pickup truck, I was completely blown away by the interior, how it was laid out, the ergonomics, the way sync operated, as well as the buttons. Everything in the interior just really screamed quality. As far as the rear seat legroom, the option to fold down the entire center rear seat and give you this huge center console back there, and just the fact that you get reclining back seats really to me stands out as the best cab. So hands down, it's not even close in terms of interior. I would definitely go with the Ram interior, specifically the new half-ton Ram interior. Now in terms of wheel and tire setup, you know, I am a big fan of the way the Alcoas look, but I really wish manufacturers would put out a 10-lug 20-inch Alcoa wheel just for the pickup truck market. I mean, I know it's not going to be a true medium-duty wheel, even though it probably would have roughly the same rating of a 19.5-inch wheel, but I think overall it would just give you a much more broad selection of tires that people might want to put on it. That being said, though, I absolutely love the 19.5-inch Alcoas that I have on my truck, so I would definitely say that I would stick with the F450 wheel and tire package. Infotainment system, in terms of like your navigation, your interior technologies, that's going to be kind of a toss-up between Ford and Ram. I really like Ram's Uconnect system, but I like all the cameras that they give you on the Ford system, at least in terms of 3/4 ton up trucks. Now that being said, if I could put the half-ton technology in, since I am putting half-ton Ram interior in the truck, I would probably go for the half-ton Uconnect system that gives you the 360-degree camera, as well as the newer Uconnect system included. I'd also want Ram's rear air suspension system, but I'd like more manual control over it in the event I want to adjust it, as opposed to it just being an auto leveling system. Now, I know I'm kind of jumping around here a bit, but in terms of transmission, see, that's another toss-up. I'm a big fan of the Allison transmission. It would probably be the one I would opt for, but I'm also a fan of the Aisin and the torque shift transmission from Ford and Ram. If I had to say one, I would probably opt for the Allison transmission. I believe Allison makes a solid product. In the 3/4 ton, 1 ton market, if they paired that with the Cummins engine, I think that would be really the ideal pairing. So I'm going to say the Cummins engine with the Allison transmission. Now, in terms of towing equipment, this is going to be kind of an interesting one, because if you look at how the Ford frame is built, the Ford can hold up to 21,000 pounds conventionally on the back receiver hitch with a 3-inch shank. But on an F350 or F450, you're going to be limited to about 27,500 pounds for a fifth wheel towing and about 32,500 pounds for gooseneck towing. Whereas on the Ram frame and hitch assembly is actually rated all the way up to its maximum tow capacity of over 31,000 pounds. What I would probably say is I want the tow capacity of the Ford, I want the fifth wheel reinforcement of the Ram. And then finally, paint. In my opinion, my favorite color is ruby red. I absolutely fell in love with it when I saw it on my truck. It's definitely going to be a hard color to move away from if it's no longer offered at some point, but I absolutely love ruby red. So my favorite truck is going to be ruby red. So yeah, guys, that's my ideal truck. If a manufacturer combines all of that, you know, aside from, of course, the body look, if they go with their own look, then, you know, that's, of course, going to be tied to their brand. But if they get all the features right, they throw all of that into one truck, that would be the truck I buy next. Anyways, guys, I felt that question was one worth answering. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we will talk to you again very soon.